Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in today's video we are going to take a close look at the retro shooter Pandora's box. We're going to do this unboxing together with you because I wanted to see what is this thing actually all about. But in this video I just wanted to do an unboxing, and later on I'm going to make in-depth reviews about certain parts because there is so much to talk about. So first of all, when you're looking at the kit, you're going to get everything that you're going to need. Pandora's box is an all-inclusive kit, or particularly this retro shooter Pandora's box. Pandora's box stands for different kind of system I've reviewed here in the past. It's more like a keyword than it in my opinion means, because this is just a completely different story. We're going to need a little bit of assembly. I think due of loss they're going to be disassembly the gun itself, and what you're going to get with the light gun, you don't need to put 4 screws in, and everything have been implemented inside of the box when it comes to the screwdriver and the screws. Then we're going to get ourselves the red and the blue color gun. Let me know in the comments what do you think of the colors, or do you prefer to have black versions. Nevertheless, everything has been, let's say, inside the box when it comes to the blue light gun. Let's peel this freaking thing out. And there we're going to get the sensor technology, including everything. And the way how you need to assemble it is quite genius, and it's going to be very convenient and plug and play. But that is going to also do an in-depth review of the light guns itself. In layer number 2, there we're going to get all the other parts. What we're also going to get in the kit is the pedal. Oh yep, and this thing is a very nice pedal. It's made out of plastic. I have seen like metal version that look even more cooler, but yeah, for this more like this complete deluxe and cheap kit, it's great. We can play Time Crisis and some copper games how they just intended to be, like with a pedal. So I think it's very cool. So in here we're also going to get the system itself. Then we're going to get ourselves the PlayStation 2 controllers. The first thing that we need to do is of course the smelly test. They don't smell chemical, they smell kind of nice to be honest. But they are having a very good quality when it comes to the joysticks. Like real rubberized joystick. And the overall quality, I must say it's not PlayStation 2 quality, but it is nice. Then the battery compartment can be opened up fairly easy. With some of them you need to even use a tool to get these things open. We're going to need 2 AAA batteries for powering it on, and the on and off switch. But what I understand of these things, they automatically switch off if you don't use it for some time. So it will save you some batteries. A very interesting thing, they also implement this in cheaper kits that we're going to get actually like NES controls. And it's kind of interesting. I've never seen them doing this. So yeah, we're only having a 4-button configuration. I'm guessing if you just want to play some old school 8-bit and PC Engine, you're just going to use these controllers. So it's interesting the choice they made for this. Both have 2 controllers. And in here we're going to get every single cable that we're going to need, including the power supply. So that's actually what we're going to get when it comes everything inside the box itself. So let's talk about the game system. This is actually what everything is going to be happening. I must say that I am very pleased to see that we're actually going to get ourselves just a game system. And I mean, we have reviewed a couple of these game boxes back in the day, but this is something completely unique and different. This is not your typical, let's say, emulating box or another box where they're slapping some software on. This is something completely like unique. We're going to get 3 USB ports over here. Then we're going to get an HDMI port. The what? The Ethernet, okay, you mean the RG45. Here we're going to find ourselves the SD card. Let's see what kind of quality they're using. Seems to be there's not like a brand on there, so always back up the things to make a backup for yourself. And then input for the 12 volt. And this is also interesting. Here we're going to get every single connection that we're going to need for the light gun. I'm guessing here we're going to get the pedal, 12 volt vibration, 12 volt vibration, and another pedal. So if you want to put the pedal to the metal, you're going to need to connect it through the box itself. So when it comes to the receivers that we're going to need to use, when it comes to the old school NES, we're going to get 2 controllers and the 2 receiver configuration. But if you're going to use yourself the PlayStation version, let's call it that, you're going to get 2 controllers and 1 receiver configuration. Also in the box we're going to get, already mentioned before, the screwdriver. It's a very nice one by the way. And the screwdriver is just a typical screwdriver. I think it's a Torque, a very small one with all of the needed screws for assembling the light gun. So let's do that first. So I already mentioned before, and I've shown you that I removed this part. So here you can see in the inside we're going to get the PCB that connects to the front part. I think it's quite genius, to be honest, that they made it like that. So we can just slide it in very carefully, and we're going to put in the torque screws. Let's see if we're going to be working and recording. And that's it. We need to do it 4 times. Ah man, it's not magnetic, but that's the thing. What we need to do is putting it together, so we can also test it out and use it for the video. I'm really curious how accurate this is. But if you're not really handy when it comes to assembly, I can tell you putting these things together is so easy. Everybody can just do this. So it's not going to be something that we have seen before. When it comes to, let's say, assembly full pinball machines. This is something they just needed to do. And maybe they also saved up some space in the packaging, don't know. Nevertheless, this is super easy to do. Oh yeah, there we go. 2 to go. So where the controller is quite good quality, they completely dropped the ball when it comes to the button configuration. I don't know what they smoked over there, but it's kinda interesting to see that the AB is on a completely different location. So where we normally having over here A and B over there, selection can be different from different Pandora's boxes or different game boxes, where we're having sometimes selection that's basically here or this particular button, but everything is messed up. And for example, the A selection button is now over there. And I can tell you, you really need to get used to it. So everything has been assembled and configured. I mean, when you're looking at it, it's super easy to set it up. Just plug in the dongle and you're ready to go. Already mentioned before, when it comes to configuration, every single product needs their own dongle. Where the PlayStation controller will use 2 controls on 1 dongle, and for the, let's say, the NES part, we're going to have a dongle for each controller. But let's take a close look at the overall quality and how is the menu and everything working. For keeping the box quite cool, they implemented a fan, and I can tell you, it does sound like a freaking vacuum cleaner. But let's talk about the menu itself. It's a menu that has a lot of new features. Features we also seen with previous Pandora's boxes. So I'm just going to be honest, there is nothing to complain here. To begin with, when pressing start on the controller, we're going to get this extra menu here at the right. They're having recently, we can even search. We have first alphabetic order, first alphabetic order, okay, whatever. Then of course 3D game, 3 or 4 players, and this is quite cool if you want to connect 4 players or 4 controllers to the system, and yep, that is possible. Light guns have their own game list, and here having the category system that we have seen before, but Pandora's Box 6 was one of the first ones they had this. So when it comes to this, there is nothing to complain in my opinion. So if you want to go selecting, let's say Sega Dreamcast, you're pressing the A button, and here having all the single, let's say Dreamcast games, only one. Seems to be one of them on there, but okay. Pressing start again will bring you back to the menu. So the way how it actually works is pretty convenient. And I must say that they did an amazing job. And after complaining for quite a long time now, there is somebody finally listening to me and not messing it up for once. So here having the alphabetic order. And this is pretty damn cool, what you can see over here. Between the A button and start, we can go back into the game, or in the game menu. Pressing start will bring you back to this. So the way it actually works is pretty damn great. So one of the changes they made, just let's say, and minor changes can have such a big difference when it comes to the overall experience. So first of all, when you're looking at it over here, it shows what kind of category or what kind of game it is. This is a sports game, a light gun game, but here at the side it also shows what kind of platform. Super convenient if you want to play a certain game from a certain platform. So the only downside, and I find it a really big downside, that this tiny hole over here, you need to find yourself a special, let's say, tiny screwdriver or something to poke it, because underneath, if you're going to press it, we're going to get into the special settings menu. The retro shooter Pandora's Box menu, it's similar to the ones we have seen before with just the typical family or JAMA versions. Yep, you're just going to get yourself Wi-Fi, button config, system config, game config, bookkeeping, and the language itself. The button and the system can be partially found in the main menu when going back to the main menu. Also here we can check out some other things like light gun features, gamepad configuration. These tools can be found in main menu, so don't need to go into the, let's say, special menu we're seeing over here. System configuration, there is not a lot you can check out. Here we're having the HD quality mode. I'm going to set it off. Later on, we're going to do an in-depth video about the box, but also all of the extra features. We have game mode all the way up to 4 players if you want to do that. I think it's pretty convenient when it comes to the menu itself. You can also configure your game list if you want to sweep out games of the list itself. And you know, there are like the basic settings we've seen many times before. And of course, every single game will have a quick preview at the right side. And I think it's very cool that they still implement this feature in the later Pandora boxes. When scrolling through the games, you can see how super fast it will scroll through the next, let's say, tiny video. And there is no big delay in this. But also the loading times are significantly faster. For example, when you're having Mortal Kombat 1 that loaded so freaking long when it comes to some Pandora boxes, they managed to fix it. Here we're going to get ourselves the options. But the weird thing is, one of the things they still didn't fix, we cannot make a quick load, quick save at every single game. Yep, this is a main game, but you have the console configuration, but also when it comes to the aspect ratio, this option is not here, because that's one of the features they did promise. So if you want to change out the resolution that is outputting it, what you need to do is turning it on and off. And when powering on the device itself, over here, you need to press the tiny button that is in here. You can use all kinds of different, let's say, tools. If it's small enough, you can reach in. The screwdriver is of course too big, but you can just press the button underneath. If you're going to put it on different resolution, somehow with different resolutions, I don't have the game screen scale option. And that's the reason why I didn't have it in the first place. Let's go back to Mortal Kombat, and here we don't have the quick load, quick save, but we do have the game scale, screen scale 16:9, and we can put it to 4:3 if we want to. The next test I wanted to try out is some MAME with Mortal Kombat 1. Take consideration that Killer Instinct will not run on this box, because that is way too demanding. The same goes for the Tekken MAME games. But I just wanted to see if they mess up Mortal Kombat, but they didn't. Next up, I wanted to try out some PlayStation Portable, just to see how it actually is going to be running.
Get ready for the next round.
So with the previous Pandora's boxes, they were running on old emulators and had a lot of struggles. But let's see. Yeah, it still struggles in the beginning. It has been set to low resolution, so far I can see. We cannot look into the emulator itself. You can see also that we're having the wiggly feet, so they are still using the old emulator like with the previous boxes. The overall performance not bad at all, but it is of course different between all of the games. Okay, so next up let's try a Dreamcast game. I just wanted to check out, let's hold the start button for getting into the special menu, because I want to boost it back to this normal resolution. There we go. That seems to be working just fine. I just quickly want to do a gameplay. But for the overall performance of the box is just fine when it comes to this particular game. What I find a very nice addition to this particular version, every single time you go into a fighting game, so far I've tested it out, you're going to get yourself just instantly into the menu and it skips everything. So let's check out if we're going to get any glitching going on over here. Nope, seems to be working just fine. The only thing I wanted to check out, how will the overall performance be? Are we going to get a lot of glitching? Oh, you can hear that it struggles big time. Yep, we do have some minor glitching, but it struggles with absolute N64, like always. You know, just punch you in the face. Oh, you can just hear that it drops significantly in frames per second. And if you do wonder, yep, you can change out the aspect ratio when it comes to also the N64 games. Next up, I just wanted to check out the Sega Naomi platform, just to see actually how that will run. So when you're looking at this particular platform, we did see some great performance in previous boxes. Wing is just a very demanding game, and I mean particularly not like overall performance, but especially when it comes to, say, all the stuff that happens on screen, it can get very extremely over the kill, which you can see over here. But I don't see a lot of weird things going on. The first item we're going to do is Blood Bros. This is a game I absolutely play so much. I love this game, but I can hear to the music that it is not configured correctly on the back end. So there's a little bit of a problem that we have seen with many Pandora's boxes and also with this particular one. Sound effects are mostly here, but when it comes to the overall, let's say, audio speed, there we're going to get a significant difference when you're using a different emulator. There are many improvements when it comes to this new retro shooter Pandora's box, and yep, it's quite interesting too. But we'll just scrape the surface when it comes to this. So later on I will make an in-depth video about everything that we're going to find on this, and just to see actually what are we going to get with every single, like say, emulation performance. So let me know in the comments what kind of stuff would you like to see. Nevertheless, let's go on with the show and let's take a close look at the light gun features. So let's take a close look at the light gun and everything around it. I just want to do just a quick overview what are we actually going to get inside the package itself. Everything when it comes to, of course, the cabling. The sensor that you need to put on your monitor needs to be left and right in the corners. And at the back we're going to get ourselves two connections over here. So you can choose to basically use one cable that goes to, let's say, the Pandora's box itself for giving this thing some power. Or you can just like link them. Seems more like a daisy link chain. Nevertheless, we're also going to do an in-depth video about this. But for now, let's take a close look at the retro shooter Pandora's box. And when it comes to this, I already shown you need to assemble it with 4 screws, nothing very interesting. But the overall, let's see how comfortable it is. I really like it. The grip is great. I'm just going to be honest with that. It is amazing, to be honest. So here in the middle, we're going to get ourselves some extra grip, and the same goes at the front. So holding it, it's very comfortable. So overall, when you're looking at the micro series, it is very nice. And we do have a little bit of a travel, but it is minimal. And I think you're not going to be noticing it at all. So at the left, we're going to get 2 buttons over here for selection. And at the right, we're going to get another one, a big one. And then where they made the choice to add a joystick. And the joystick is going to be super convenient because you can navigate through the menu. And yep, you can just use this light gun alone. Just navigate through the menu, choosing your game and just play. So in the kit itself, they are giving me the pedal. The pedal, I don't know, I'm very curious what they will do in the future if they're going to make like a metal part of. That is something we need to see. It does have a very nice tension to it. But you can see over here, you need to put quite some force. But the overall quality is very nice. I tried it out with Time Crisis and that was absolutely great. This is something you do miss with a lot of different brands. And with the retro shooter, you do have the option to get yourself in a kit, or some maybe in the future we're going to do differently, but you're going to get yourself a pedal. So the cabling, I can tell you it's going to be a freaking cable nightmare, but not like a nightmare and a bad thing. So first of all, when you're looking at the way how you need to connect it, it's going to be super easy. First of all, we're going to get just three cables. So the particular first one you're seeing over here, this one is going to be for the pedal. You're just going to plug it into the system. Then over here, the power, the 12 volt that we're going to get ourselves from the box itself. You just plug it in for the recoil. And then of course the USB for connecting the light gun itself. Okay, so we have set up the sensor itself. Both of them need to be in the corner for the best optimal, let's say, way to play. You're just pressing the button, both of them over here, for turning it on. You can see the LED turns on, so this is an indication that the LED functions to be working. So everything has been set up. It will be plugging in into the box itself over here, and that's basically what we're going to get. So that's set up. Let's take a close look at the light gun itself now. But let's start connecting the light gun. So we can leave the controller in if you just being like me alone over here. But there are actually 2 ports are dedicated to the light guns, and one of them is over here. So the thing that we're going to do is plug in the USB. It will automatically, I always like messing with the freaking like cable and the plug. It will automatically ask you for, let's say, configuring. Yeah, so I don't need to set it up. What you can do is pressing B over here. This is B. And going back to the main menu. So if you just want to go into the menu again, of course you can plug it in and out if needed. It will go back to the light gun feature option where we can mess around with it. You need to have a little bit more distance. But if you want to change it out, you're pressing the button over here. Then we're going to shoot on the target. That's it. It will take up a couple of seconds. And then everything needs to be set up correctly. There we go. And this works just fine. The rumble doesn't work, and the reason why is very simple. Didn't plug it in, so you can plug it in if you want to have the solenoid going on. Let's plug it in. And there we go. But let's talk about the solenoid, because it's quite interesting. But when it comes to light gun, there are so many different kinds of technology, but also qualities. I already mentioned before that the grip is absolutely great. But when it comes to the solenoid, it's a different kind of version we have seen with previous videos. Think about the Gunfire and the Sinden. So it's also having a different feel. You have the spring that you can just feel. But when you're listening to the sound itself, yep, it just feels and sounds actually like I'm showing you. But when it comes to the experience, when you're just playing and you want to fire rapidly, it's going to be no problem whatsoever. And that is what I really like about the light gun itself. And that is where when you're playing certain games that you have rapid fire, that is absolutely great. And the solenoid is a very cool add-on to this. So one of the things that make me really happy with devices like these, if you just want to navigate through the menu itself, you can just use the light gun. And this is absolutely great. So we're going to have like A and B and everything have been set to the certain positions. Over here at the left button, I'm going to choose the special menu where we're going to do the light guns. Select it by shooting, and here we're having every single game that you want to play. This is super convenient and very quickly. So let's start with a couple of games and let's have some fun. Let's go. Okay, so let's start with the PlayStation game, and I can tell you out of the box, it seems to be working just fine. I need to get you the light gun. Of course, I need to have the right distance. I know there are some modified versions out there that they putting lenses on it. There's something I wanted to try in the future just to see how accurate it's going to be. I just wanted to use this on a very tiny screen. It's going to boot up the arcade version now. So let's see which button I need to press. There we go. Crank up the volume and let's see where we're going to have some fun with this. So this is actually one of the games I played so much on the freaking demo disc I had. It's so cool. But what I love about the solenoid is that it's really nice having this burst of solenoid feeling. And of course it's not like with some other guns I've tried, but it's quite aggressive. And it worked great. But okay, so let's see, we want to go back to the main menu itself. So we need to do holding the button, because it's actually the start button that we're going to grant us the access getting into the menu itself. And next up, let's go to the exit. You are maybe noticing there is no 4:3 aspect ratio. I understand with an update they're working on it, but that doesn't work so far. Okay, I do notice there's some differences when it comes to the audio levels. Doesn't work, okay. Oh crap. But also this game works quite accurate. Alright, so the reload seems to be working. Completely messing up the game. So of course one of the games that we need to try is Time Crisis for the PlayStation. That is not the main version. Okay, so let's see how the overall emulation performance is. See, this is kind of weird. The music is not like it should be. Or this is a different version. It doesn't matter, let's get into action and let's see how this pedal seems to be working. There we go. Geronimo! So when it comes to crosshair, you can just turn it on and off from the menu itself. So I'll give you an example how it will look if you're going to play this with the crosshair. It's going to be different, of course, an experience, but again, if you want to have the cheating crosshair on, you can do that. There you can see, you can just actually play like that. Makes the game playing way easier. So as making this video, this is the first released version, and there will be updates coming in the future. That is what they promised me. I'm hoping this because there were a lot of things that I didn't like. Stuff that I've seen with previous Pandora's box when it comes to problems with emulators. But the overall experience, yeah, also for the money we can't complain. They are delivering quite a, let's say, incomplete kit where you can have like light guns, controllers and have hours of fun. It's not like top notch, we have seen many different products here on the channel. Consider subscribing, let me know in the comments also what kind of games you want to see running on this, because I want to go in depth in this more and more, because there is so much we can talk about, but we just barely scratched the surface. I want to give you like an overall impression, unboxing about it. Thank you all for watching, and it would be great to see you in the next video. Join me on the second channel where we're going to do this awesome giveaway, where we're going to give away in collaboration with Retro Shooter a complete gold kit and of course a kit for the Pandora book 10th edition. Consider subscribing, hit the little bell, become one of the Wicked family here, but also on the second channel, and we're going to make 2 people happy in the future.